So I want to show you guys a story here in the Daily Poster. Encourage you all to follow them. It's David Sirota's outlet. Some fantastic journalists over there, including those that wrote this piece, Julia Rock, Andrew Perez, and Walker Bregman. And this is about Biden's position on student loan debt, which he has obviously drug his feet on for over a year after promising to cancel. At different points in the campaign, he said he would cancel 10,000 and he said he would cancel 50,000. He's done nothing, and now they're actually objecting, as this story shows, to a court ruling that would give an epileptic debt holder $100,000 back. So they're objecting to even the court's ruling here that this person is entitled to have their debt erased, in a massively conservative move, again, from the Biden administration. Again, Julia Rock, Andrew Perez, Walker Bregman, follow the Daily Poster. You guys, they put out fantastic stuff. Biden moves to block student debt victory. The president created draconian bankruptcy laws. Now his administration appears to be trying to overturn a ruling that helps those bankrupted by student loans. Despite increasing pressure to fulfill a campaign promise to forgive student debt, President Joe Biden is now going in the opposite direction. His administration has taken an initial step to try to overturn a key legal victory for borrowers, according to court filings reviewed by the Daily Poster. If the administration wins an appeal, it could bolster a legal precedent against millions of debtors being crushed by bankruptcy laws that Biden infamously helped his finance industry donors sculpt during his 4 decades, in Washington. Can't read today, can I? On January 14th, a federal judge in Biden's home state of Delaware moved to eliminate nearly $100,000 in student loan debt held by a 35-year-old epileptic man. In response, the Justice Department filed a notice of appeal in the case on behalf of Education Secretary Miguel Cardona. If Biden officials now follow through with a fully formed appeal, they would not only be aiming to keep this man overwhelmed with debt, but also moving to solidify a legal interpretation that could preclude even the most beleaguered student debtors, from getting relief through bankruptcy courts. Quote, in light of the administration's commitment to reforming the process of student loan borrowers in bankruptcy, it is both surprising and disappointing to see that they appear to be backtracking. Dan Zeibel, Vice President and Chief Counsel for the National Student Legal Defense Network, a nonprofit that represents students in cases related to education and student debt, told the Daily Poster. Quote, with bipartisan calls to lower the bar for borrowers seeking relief from student loans in bankruptcy, the department should not be arguing in court to raise that bar. The legal maneuver comes more than 6 years after the Obama administration called on Congress to make it easier for some borrowers to discharge their student loans through bankruptcy. Over the last 4 decades, Biden has led the fight against initiatives to reduce student debt. As a senator from Delaware, Biden sculpted the laws that have made it so difficult for Americans to reduce their student debt in bankruptcy court. On the presidential campaign trail, Biden appeared ready to take a new position on the matter. He promised to make it easier for people to reduce their student debt through bankruptcy proceedings and to immediately cancel a minimum of $10,000 of student debt per person. But instead of doing so, his Justice Department is moving to further entrench legal precedent against borrowers. So another story, you guys, that's not terribly surprising, but indicative of Biden's refusal to even do the mildly progressive things that he promised. And as I said, at different points, he said 10,000 and 50,000 during the campaign trail. But obviously, he in the mid-2000s was the architect of that bankruptcy bill that screwed over student borrowers in the first place. I mean, they already were kind of screwed, but it further screwed student borrowers, I suppose I should say. And that was one of the things that brought Elizabeth Warren to the forefront of American politics, was that she actually opposed him in that moment. Obviously, Warren, no left-wing champion either, but opposed Biden's bankruptcy bill in the mid-2000s, and he fought her on it and won. And now refusing to follow through on yet another campaign promise. How many promises has he reneged on now, you guys? I have lost count. I've lost count. $15 minimum wage. He promised a public option, which he could do by executive order. He won't even do that. By the way, I think a public option would be problematic. We need single payer. Really, we need an NHS, but we need at least Medicare for all, single payer healthcare. He promised a public option. He's refused to do even that. He promised he would change the standards for negotiating drug prices with big pharma. He has not done that, and even the proposals that pertain to that got walked way back. How many things has he promised, as we were talking about earlier? Police reform, legal justice system reform. Done none of that. Gone in the opposite direction. He promised to be good on the environment. He proved more drilling permits than Trump did in his first year, over 3,500. He just tried to lease millions of acres in the Gulf of Mexico for drilling projects. Just in every way, he has reneged on his promises made on the campaign. And this, another one. Once again, guys, just want to plug the Daily Poster. If you're not following them, go follow their work. They do fantastic work, David Sirota and his colleagues over at the Daily Poster.